Hello everybody and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be doing. This series is going to be about revisiting vehicles from history and give some more info about them and all that good stuff. The F86 Sabre is a transonic fighter jet designed and produced by North American Aviation (NAA). The Sabre is best known as being the United States' first swept-wing fighter that could counter the Soviet MiG-15 in dogfights over the skies of the Korean War. The Sabre is rated highly among other jet fighters of other eras. Although it was developed in the late 1940s and was outdated by the end of the 1950s, the Sabre proved versatile and adaptable and continued as a frontline fighter in numerous air forces. NAA had produced the propeller-powered P-51 Mustang in WW2, which saw combat against some of the first operational jet fighters. By late 1944, North American proposed its first jet fighter to the U.S. Navy, which became the FJ-1 Fury. It was a transitional jet fighter that had a straight wing derived from the P-51 proposals to meet a United States Army Air Force's requirement for a medium-range, single-seat, high-altitude, jet-powered escort fighter/fighter bomber were drafted in mid-1944. In early 1945, North American Aviation submitted 4 designs. The USAAF only selected one design and granted North American a contract to build 3 examples of the XP-86, deleting specific requirements from the FJ-1 Fury, coupled with other modifications, allowed the XP-86 to be lighter and considerably faster than the Fury, with an estimated top speed of 937 km per hour versus the Fury's 880 km per hour. Despite the gain in speed, early studies revealed that the XP-86 would have the same performance as its rivals, the XP-80 and XP-84. Because the rival designs were more advanced in their development stages, it was feared that the XP-86 would be cancelled. Crucially, the XP-86 was not able to meet the required top speed of 970 km per hour. North America had to quickly devise a radical change that could leapfrog the rivals' designs. The North American F-86 Sabre was the first American aircraft to take advantage of flight research data seized from the Germans at the end of World War II. The data showed that a thin, swept wing could greatly reduce drag and delay compressibility problems that had plagued fighters, such as the Lockheed P-38 when approaching the speed of sound. By 1944, German engineers and designers had established the benefits of swept wings based on experimental designs dating back to 1940. Studies of the data showed that a swept wing would solve their speed problem, while a slat on the wing's leading edge that extended at low speeds would enhance low-speed stability. Because development of the XP-86 had reached an advanced stage, the idea of changing the sweep of the wing was met with resistance from some senior North American staff. Despite stiff opposition, after good results were obtained in wind tunnel tests, the swept wing concept was eventually adopted. Performance requirements were met by incorporating a 35 degrees swept back wing, using modified NACA 4-digit airfoils, NACA 0009 5-64 at the root and NACA 0008 5-64 at the tip, with an automatic slat design based on the design of the Messerschmitt Me 262 and an electrically adjustable stabilizer. Another feature of the Me 262A, many Sabres had the 6-3 wing retrofitted after combat experience was gained in Korea. This modification changed the wing airfoils to the NACA 0009-64 mod at the root and the NACA 0008 1-64 mod at the tip. The XP-86 prototype, which led to the F-86 Sabre, was rolled out on the August 8, 1947. The first flight occurred on the October 1, 1947 with George Welch at the controls, flying from Muroc Dry Lake, California. The United States Air Force's Strategic Air Command had F-86 Sabres in service from 1949 through 1950. The F-86s were assigned to the 22nd Bomb Wing, the first fighter wing. IDKY they called it the 22nd Bomber Wing, but the first fighter wing and the first fighter interceptor wing. The F-86 was the primary U.S. air combat fighter during the Korean War, with significant numbers of the first 3 production models seeing combat. The F86 Sabre was also produced under license by Canadair Ltd. as the Canadair Sabre, the final variant of the Canadian Sabre. The Mark VI, also known as the CL-15 Mk6 in the German tech tree in War Thunder, is generally rated as having the highest capabilities of any Sabre version. The Sabre's swept wings and jet engine produced a flying experience that was very different from the propeller-driven fighters of the time. The transition from props to jets was not without accidents even for experienced fighter pilots. Early on in the jet age, some U.S. manufacturers instituted safety and transition programs where experienced test and production pilots toured operational fighter squadrons to provide instruction and demonstrations designed to lower the accident rate. Additionally, the ongoing technical development and long production history of the F-86 resulted in some significant differences in the handling and flying characteristics between the various F-86 models. Some of the important changes to the design included the switch from an elevator/stabilizer to an all-flying tail, the discontinuation of leading-edge slats for a solid leading edge with increased internal fuel capacity, increased engine power, and an internal missile bay, F-86D. Each of these design changes impacted the handling and flying characteristics of the F-86, not necessarily for the better. In the case of the solid leading edge and increased internal fuel capacity, the design change produced increased combat performance, but exacerbated a dangerous and often fatal handling characteristic upon takeoff if the nose were raised prematurely from the runway. This over-rotation danger is now a major area of instruction and concern for current F-86 pilots. The 1972 Sacramento Canadair Sabre accident resulting in 22 fatalities and 28 other casualties was a result of over-rotation on takeoff. The F-86 Sabre was a typical American jet as it is a fighter, but can still carry large amounts of ordnance, and is versatile enough to carry on serving till the late 1900s.